There is a potentially life and death-changing experiment going on right now. One scientist believes it could save millions of lives. RT correspondent John Huddy has more on this new development for CRISPR gene editing. Okay, John, we're going to have a little science lesson today. What is this experiment, and most importantly, why is it so important to you and I, Professor?
Yeah, right. For the first time, well, let me kind of walk you through what's happening here. For the first time, CRISPR gene editing, excuse me, is being used in clinical trials on U.S. patients. It's happening, Scotty, at the University of Pennsylvania, where researchers are treating 2 cancer patients with the experimental therapy. Now, CRISPR is a gene editing technique that allows scientists and researchers to modify DNA by essentially removing the problematic genes and either replacing or repairing them. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Think of it like the cut and paste program on your computer. That's what we're talking about. And the hope is that the science will one day lead to enhanced treatments or even cures for diseases such as cancer, and that's where this trial comes in. The 2 patients at the center of it are cancer patients, one with multiple myeloma and the other with sarcoma. Scientists will reportedly remove immune system cells from their bodies, genetically modify them in the lab, and then infuse those cells back into their bodies, hoping they will target and destroy the cancer cells. Eventually, the study has been approved to reportedly treat 18 total patients, and it's really the start of what will likely be many more clinical trials to come in the United States, Europe, and Canada as well. Up until this point, you know, most of them were being done in China, where, and you probably remember this, the Chinese scientist Ha Zhongquai made headlines last year when he used the CRISPR technique to edit the genes of human embryos, erupting into that massive scandal worldwide about being the first to genetically engineer babies. Well, he was subsequently fired from his job at a top Chinese university, and he received widespread international condemnation and rebuke. And the scandal also resulted in calls for a moratorium on gene editing of heritable traits. So there are concerns about using CRISPR on human patients. For one, the concerns about scientists trying to re-engineer the human race, starting with embryos, kind of a dystopian view of gene engineering. Further, there's always the law of unintended consequences, that something unintended could go wrong with a science as new and as powerful as this. You know, gene engineering, CRISPR, is also, by the way, being used to modify yeast to create biofuels and genetically modify crop strains, along with testing on animals and insects. So the bottom line, while promising and exciting, researchers are also working to determine how safe CRISPR and gene engineering as a whole ultimately is, Scotty.
Well, that's a very easy way of explaining something very complicated. Obviously brings up a lot of ethical issues, but I don't actually have to be a scientist to tell you, you need some honey and some hot tea on that voice right now, or we're not going to have you back here next week with a voice.
Maybe I need the CRISPR gene editing and engineering for my voice.
Well, maybe that's the next solution. Thanks for joining us, John.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.